hopeful that one of these days I'll be able to meet the Nwankpa children, now adults, of course, and ask their perspectives of the kind of parenting they received when they were growing up and now that they're adults. It's a huge hope, though. Hello, welcome to Blossom with Busola today, and it's such a fantastic privilege for me to have here David Nwankpa. David, welcome to Blossom with Busola.
Thank you very much.
It's so good to have you here. Thank you for coming over to chat to me. Like I talked with your parents and we shared this. So it's good to hear from you. So thank you. And hey, if this is the first time you are coming here, it's a good day to come. The best day ever when I'm right here with David. And if you're always here, thank you for being always here. And make sure if you have not subscribed to my channel, you do so. And if you like what's going on, don't wait till the end. Click like, subscribe, share, and post your comments. Here I have David talking about what his parents have already shared with us. So David, you defined a role model as one who is worthy of emulation. And also you went on to say that they display admirable bravery. To think and act beyond personal interests and to reject blind conformity, firmly standing up for what they believe to be right. And in the next paragraph of your write-up, you mentioned a lady as fitting that description perfectly. Her name is Tity Nwankpa. But tell us, who is Tity Nwankpa?
So fortunately for me, Tity Nwankpa is my mother and also a role model for me. Yeah, that fits that description.
You wrote a whole piece about Dr. Tity Nwankpa, your mother. You're citing Dr. Tity Nwankpa as one who made you feel delighted. And you were so awed by the way she carried on her duties that you felt you wanted to walk in her steps. Can you tell us more about this influence?
So my parents, that's one thing I'm really grateful for. Like growing up, they didn't force you towards anything like, oh, study this or study this other thing. But they always let you know that they will support what you're interested in and what you want to pursue. As long as that's what you want to do, then they're there to support it. There was no real pressure towards anything. It was just more of what do you want to do and them being there to support whatever I wanted to do. Rather, the pressures was mainly from peers, like what are your mates doing? What are the boys? All the boys wanted to be engineers, all the girls wanted to be doctors. So that was the only time that...
Oh, it was the girls who wanted to be doctors.
Yeah. At least in my school growing up,
yeah.
But yeah. That was the only type of pressure, but it was mainly whatever I wanted to do, they're there to support it, and they made that clear from day one. Yeah.
Speak about the medical missions trips you accompanied Dr. Tity, your mom, on.
Went around the village, just campaigning, letting them know that we're having a program the next day, and just handing out flyers. And yeah, I just remember like bits and pieces from that trip. And then the next day, the doctor started what they were doing. People came, lineups. They would be sending us anything they needed. We were the ones that were doing the errands, like running, bringing things, candle, medication, this one, that one. Yeah. So that was my role in the whole thing and just really observing what was happening. Yeah.
How old were you when this took place?
11, 10, 11. Yeah.
When you asked your mom why she did these free consultations, she told you that the smiles on her patients' faces were sufficient reward for her.
Yeah.
What rewards do you look forward to in your medical career, apart from, obviously, the earning power?
I mean, the earning power is good too. The earning power is, end of the day, is not just for myself. Like there's a lot you can do in money. Like money is actually useful, you know, to both myself and to other people. But the end goal for me medicine is, I'm not too sure how that's going to play out yet because I'm still in the process, but channeling it towards working for God, channeling it towards winning people to God's kingdom in however that presents itself. I'm not too sure how that's going to play out now or how God would have me play that role, but I know that this is what I've been given medicine to do.
Being willing to do it to please God. He's going to guide your path. He will show you how he wants you to do it. I'm very sure of that. And we know that God is, his plans for us are plans of good. Right?
Exactly. And as a doctor too, like there's a lot of people that look up to you. There's a lot of, it connects to you a lot being a doctor. So you don't know whose life God is planning to use you to bring to him. So I guess that's what I've been given medicine to do with. Even now, I'm not even a doctor now, but there's a lot of people that come to you and try and talk to you and look up to you. And yeah, so being able to reflect God in that role for those people that God has attached to your life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure, it does. It does. I mean, there's something that connects you to people. Something that gives you the opportunity to speak to people. And in speaking to the people, you're able to present God to them. You're able to share the gospel with them, to tell them about Christ. So that connection, and we always need that connection, something that gives us a bridge to be able to speak to people. What kind of doctor does David want to be?
Well, I want to be the type of... that's a good question. I want to be, first of all, I want to be a competent doctor, a doctor that is actually good at what he does, because nobody will listen to you if you are not skilled at what you're doing. So I want to be a good doctor so I can first serve my patients well, as best as I possibly can. And I guess just naturally being a good doctor also brings about good relationship with your patients, and everything stems from relationship. Everything is built off relationship. You can't present God to somebody if you don't have a relationship with them. So I guess that's what they can expect. They can expect a competent doctor. They can expect a reliable doctor and a doctor that is actually willing to serve, not a doctor that is grumbling or not cheerful in what they are doing.
You've shared about attributes you found in your mom. We're still talking about you and Dr. Tity. So some of these qualities and attributes you found in her, let me look in your essay again. Talked about commitment. You said the practice of medicine requires commitment to lifelong self-development, self-reflection, and self-guided learning, which involves actively learning and implementing rapport-building techniques and communication skills. And your mom is a very friendly lady. How would you say these things you said have contributed to your own learning and the way you're going about your study?
I feel like you quickly learn that when you start learning medicine, that this is going to be for life. So you just know that you have to keep developing yourself. You have to keep getting better, improving your skills, improving your knowledge, and yeah, just to become the best version of the doctor God has made you to be. So yeah, that's what I've picked up from watching her over the years. Yeah.
Mommy is always learning, always getting better in what she does. So you didn't find that intimidating? Like, will I be able to do this?
If anything, I found it more, okay, if she can do it, then you can do it. If that makes sense.
That's great, because it could be one of two things. Either you know, like you said, if she can do it, I can do it. Or like, oh, she's always raising the bar. Am I ever going to get there? And that can lead to one just giving up and say, I don't think I can ever get there. She's always raising the bar. So I'm happy that it produced the other effect. So when you went for the medical mission with her and you saw the way she was, here and there, taking care of little children, taking care of adults, you were running around getting the candles, getting the medication, clearing the place where the medical team was going to stay. I think you need to speak more about that.
At the time, it was actually stressful. And I remember I even left early as well. I left because we were starting school soon. We were starting boarding school was resuming soon. And so I had to leave, but I was so happy to finally be heading back to boarding school, like leaving the village back to boarding school. But I feel like the experience just stuck with me, and seeing how natural it was for her, relating with the patients. If you see this woman that you're talking to, well, her child is crying, she'll carry the child, put on one leg, and be talking with the woman so that, okay, the woman can do what she's doing. They can check her blood pressure, whatever they're doing. And yeah, just seeing things like that, I was like, it was really encouraging, especially knowing why she's doing it, knowing that she's not really getting any reward for this, and seeing how many people believed in it, how many people decided to be a part of that was really encouraging. Like doctors coming together to do something good. So that really stuck with me. There was multiple of those type of experience, and you see people actually really appreciate, because when those type of opportunities come, you see people bringing this child, who send the older child to go and bring the younger child. So people really took advantage. It just showed you that this is actually needed. There's an actual need. There's a lot of people that's the medical services or that need the medical education.
It's encouraging. And I do hope that encourages parents who are watching that sometimes, even when the children show like so much trouble, you're troubling us so much, don't give up.
Exactly. Don't give up.
They'll probably come up later and say, I remember that time. In that essay, you said, I hope to work in the underserved populations of Australia and play a role in addressing the issue of the inverse care law, wherein services are unavailable to those in most need of it, which was like what your mother was doing then.
Exactly.
Going to give care to those who really needed it but couldn't get it. So are you still thinking about this?
Yeah, 100%. Because that's one of our big problems. Like the places that really need medical services don't really have access to it, like the rural areas, remote areas. Everybody's concentrated in the big cities, obviously, because it's more lucrative, there's more money there. But I feel like for what I want to do, I don't just want to be another doctor in the big city making money. But yeah, but that's not to say that I'd like to live rurally or anything, but I'd like to reach those people there, reach the people there, however that might look like. It might look like me having to live here for, like, living in the big cities or whatever, and then going back and forth, or spending some time there and then moving after, or being in big city and have people and arms reaching into the rural areas and underserved populations over there.
This is powerful. This is powerful. Children and people around us learn so much from what we do, much more than what we say. So here, David, still thinking about what he would do, still thinking he's going to serve the rural area, because that's how it was. That's what his parents did, going into the rural area, serving there as medical missionaries. And now David thinks about the rural population where medical services don't readily get to them. It's awesome. Going to study in Australia wasn't your first choice, was it?
Oh man, it was a funny story. So we moved around a lot. We moved around from here to the UK and then to Canada. And I do want to move again.
Okay, so from Nigeria to the UK.
I do want to move again because your friends' circle are always changing. It's as if you don't really have as much stability in your circle. So I was done. I've already done my high school here. I have my friends here. We all plan to do medicine
That's
one
in
day.
Canada.
Yeah, this is in Canada. I was just speaking with my dad. They had been speaking with different people different young people that had been applying to medicine, and just hearing people's stories. Because a lot of times what happens in the process is a lot of people while doing their undergrad, some people lose interest in doing medicine and end up not doing what they want. They end up not being able to get into medicine, or some people don't just get in after just because of that. Time has passed and motivation has dwindled over time. So my parents really didn't want that to happen with me, and my goal of studying medicine. So they were just asking, David, why don't you look into which countries that you can go into medicine straight? And me, I was just showing off knowledge. I was like, yeah, UK, Australia, this one, that one. I was just mentioning for them, just showing off knowledge. So they said, okay. And then they were like, we'll just apply as a backup plan.
Okay.
I was like, okay, as a backup plan, okay. So I'll still do my 4 years undergrad and try and apply. I'd already set my mind, this is okay, I'm doing my undergraduate in science, doing my science degree, then I'll apply to medicine after. And then they were saying it's a backup plan. But then my dad he looked around for universities and came to the one that I'm currently in, James Cook University, printed the form for me, the backup plan form. And I was looking at the form. See, backup plan is happening next year. So this was 2017 and the form was for 2018. I was like, oh, I thought this was backup plan in 4 years. Why am I feeling backup plan for next year? Then he's like, David, if you enter, you're going. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, that happened. And at the time, I was really struggling with the decision because I didn't want to move. I really considered like just doing a haphazard application, but my mind wouldn't let me. As I just applied properly, wrote out the essays properly, everything properly, but I was hoping and praying that I don't get it. I don't know, it sounds foolish now thinking about it, but I was really hoping and praying that they reject me so that I stay in Canada. But as God had it, they accepted me, and but it's been the best decision, like in hindsight, the best decision. And thank God I listened. Thank God I took it serious. Thank God I didn't butcher my application. I actually tried and gave it a good shot. And yeah, I don't regret the decision. None of them regret the decision. They're all happy. They're happy with the decision.
Would you like to speak a bit about the kind of parenting you received, your growing up years?
The parenting that we received just revolved around the Bible and what the Bible teaches, and everything is a script. Everything, they have a scripture for everything. If that makes sense. But yeah, yeah, parenting was obviously you go wrong as a child, they discipline you. When I got to boarding school, that's reduced a little bit, became more of advice, more of talks. Yeah, there's times that you feel like they're being strict, and in some of those times they actually are being, sometimes it gets a bit too much. But then again, I understand intention and where their intention is, where their heart is. So it helps you understand them a bit more and understand how they grew up as well. Because a lot of times you're living in a very different world from what they grew up in, if that makes sense. And different set of challenges. So just understanding that too. But at the end of the day, everything revolved around the Bible and revolved around what scripture ultimately has to say. So my parents were their own authorities, but then again, I knew that my authority was really the Bible, if that makes sense.
Great.
Yeah.
Did you feel listened to by your parents?
Listened to?
Do you think that they engaged with you, listened to your opinion, gave you a good hearing?
If you said something, they took it serious. sometimes you might have to show how serious you are about it before is really before it holds weight. But yeah, anything that you show them that you're serious about, they took it with all seriousness. Your career choices, things you wanted to do, even your extracurriculars, sporting things that you wanted to do, music, anything you wanted to do, as long as you show that you're serious, they were on board with it. As long as you're not going against God's will or going against what the Bible says, it's fine. That's the only thing. So yeah, I did feel listening to, especially the more like the older I got as well, and listen to you a bit more.
So beautiful to chat to you. Thank you very much for the time. And
no worries. Really enjoyed talking to you too. Really enjoyed the chats.
Well, thank you again for sharing the time with us. I hope you've had a good time with me and David. Don't forget to drop your comments.
Like and share and subscribe if you like what's going on. What's going on is really amazing. There's no reason that you shouldn't be subscribing. So yeah. And take care, all the viewers. We love you.
Thank you, David. And thank you, viewers. God bless you. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.